Hello. Hey, it's me. I'm back. Elaine Marilakos Edelson with Astrology Mojo. I want to help you get your mojo back. So I had a few tech issues this morning. So that was a testimony to me handling something on the fly that I didn't think I could handle. And so I trusted that I was going to get what I needed, and then I did. But that's why I'm 5 minutes late for today anyway. So come join me. Say hello. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, it's a live, active, wonderful time we're living in right now. And there's a lot of, everything happening. So if you don't know me, and you don't know that I say that the planets in astrology don't make you do anything, that we live in a cooperation with the cosmos, so that when the planets make a move, you feel it. When you make a move, the planets reflect that by way of aspects and angles in astrology. And so the planets are not conscious of their actions. They are part of your consciousness, but they are not dictating terms. And so when I look at planets in astrology, I see on the collective what you're facing, what you're choosing, what you're not choosing, what you might be feeling, and all that good stuff. And that's what we're here to talk about today. Hey, Teresa's here. That's part of my tech issue this morning. Oh, well, that's okay. I look a little pale, I know. We'll work on it. Okay, so we're talking about the eclipses. We're talking about Jupiter conjuncting Pluto. What does that mean? Well, in the scheme of things, and I had a slide to show you, if I could find it now. Let's see if we can do this right here on the fly. Ba-ba-da-ba. Do-do-do-do. Nope, it's not going to be that one. So I'm going to get rid of that. Perhaps it's, I can't even tell because it's so small on my screen. I can't find that. Oh, wait, there. I think this is the one. Yes, this is the one. I found it. Hooray. Okay, so what we're going to be looking at is, and let me just alter that. Okay, now I'm in the control seat. So what we're looking at is November 13th. Today is the 9th, and it's just a few days away. Then, excuse me, Mars will be going direct. But up here, what I want you to note is Jupiter, 23 degrees on Thursday. But today, November 9th, and then the 10th, and then the 11th, and the 12th, it is at 22 degrees, and so is Pluto. Now, this happens approximately every 10 to 14 years. So you could look back on your calendars around 2007. The last time it happened was around 2007, where Jupiter conjuncted Pluto. And what does that mean? Well, Jupiter represents expansion and benevolence and compassion. Yours. It's not the planet that's expanding. It's you, your expansion, or overindulgence. It's either too much or you trust that you have enough. And then it's cultural, it's travel, it's publishing. So there's a lot of different definitions of Jupiter. Those are the main ones. And then Pluto deals with the core of your unconscious self, your fears, the unconscious parts of you that you don't know are putting out vibes, frequencies, and stopping you and sabotaging you. So it's not the outside world that stops you. Is that new for you? Okay. It's not the outside world that stops you. It's your lack of awareness sometimes of what's happening on the inside, consciously, unconsciously, non-consciously, and there is a difference. So what I want you to look at too, and I'm just going to make this a little smaller so it's not so overwhelming on the screen. How about a little bit more there? Okay, so what I want you to recognize is that when Jupiter and Pluto come together, it's like, you know how I have talked about like the color wheel at Christmas, where if you had an aluminum Christmas tree growing up, which we did, And the color wheel changed the silver of the tree picked up the different colors on the wheel. And so that would give you a different feeling because you are someone who has a response and a reaction to your environment. So if the temperature changes, it affects you. If colors change, light, shadow, hues, tones, all that affects you. And so you respond to it or you react to it. So it's like when Jupiter and Pluto, when Jupiter's revolving around the sun, just like Pluto, it's just way far out there and doing its same thing. But when they come into alignment by degree, what in the same constellation, right now it's in Capricorn. Next time it'll be in Aquarius. Actually, I wrote these notes. February 2033, Jupiter will be conjuncting Pluto in Aquarius. And then in 2045 in Pisces. So one's a 14-year travel, then there's a 13-year, then it'll be a 12-year from 2033 to 2045. So you see, it's not exactly the same amount of time. But what it does is tells me where you're ready to expand into the dark recesses of your unconscious, non-conscious self, and to explore, discover, and have the big, oh, wow, I was sabotaging myself, I didn't even know it. Or, whoa, I had this fear, I wasn't even aware of it. Or, wow, I am ready to expand beyond that. So this week, November 9th, is the week to expand beyond your judgments, your past experiences, all the fears that you might have, or things that stop you. Now, that's discerning your intuition versus a fear, okay? Because if your intuition says make a right turn quickly, and you trust your intuition, you make a right turn, okay, everything's great. If a fear says make a right turn, but it's really not valid by way of truth, because the core of your unconscious self holds all the truths. So this is what Pluto represents. And it's like TNT for the psyche. Kablooey. And, what comes to light? Well, what are you working on? What are you thinking about? What are you constantly ruminating over? It's like, oh yeah, everything I love is right there. My God, what if something happened? What if something happened? What if something happened? So thereby you start to shrink your experience and you explore less, you trust less, you act on your dreams less, right? So now it's about moving beyond that. That's what Jupiter conjuncting Pluto really represents. So let me just get back to the page to see and check in. Hey, Patty's here. Elizabeth as well. Hooray, hurrah, hurroodle. We have a little poodle. That's our song. That's one of our songs because I sing all the time. That's gamma rays. Those are my gamma rays. What is that about? Hey, Brittany's here as well. So when we're talking about the conjunction of Jupiter, expansion, publishing, overindulgence, societies, cultures. Hey, it's snowing. It's snowing in Sedona. Last week it was 89 degrees. It's snowing today. Don't you love it? Life. It's so unpredictable. You have to start trusting that no matter what's going on out there, you have the power. You have the power to create your own reality. Does that make sense? Are you understanding? Hey, Dawn's here. So, we're talking about the eclipses. I'm offering the eclipse. It's not just a series of eclipses. There's going to be 5 Gemini, Sagittarius axis eclipses. And depending on where that lands in your chart, it's kind of a big to-doodle because it's about you breaking through old karmic patterns in a big way. And it's going to show up in a specific place in your chart. Say this is your chart and you're a Taurus rising. Sagittarius would be over here in the 7th and 8th houses, right? because of the degree on the cusp of the house. And then Gemini would be the first, oops, I'm going to lose my frame, the first and the second houses. So, you know, depending on your rising sign and your sun sign, will tell you, look at your natal charts and you can see where Gemini and Sagittarius are by degree. Now, the eclipses themselves, coming up November 30th, is the Gemini lunar eclipse, 8 degrees of Gemini. And that is how many minutes? Let me see, 38 minutes. That's to be exact, because if it's on the cusp of something, you want to know which house it's really going to affect. And then the solar eclipse in Sagittarius on December 14th is at 23 degrees, 8 minutes. And then next year, 2021, we have some fun in May. It's going to be a, what did I write here? An eclipse in Sagittarius, 5 degrees. And then on June 15th, that's a solar eclipse. And then on June 15th, a lunar eclipse in Gemini, 15 degrees. And then again, December 2021, the final of these series of eclipses, 23 degrees of Sagittarius. And then in there, let's throw in another in November next year, there's a Taurus eclipse. So we have a lot going on with eclipses. And eclipses shed light. The masculine principle is the solar eclipse. The feminine principle is the lunar eclipse, and it casts a glow from underneath. And I think it's important to recognize, too, that when you're doing anything in your world, you're working on your wealth, health, passion, or purpose. I'm going to just change some of these filters because I look like a ghost with bright lipstick. That's how it looks to me. So I'm going to be changing some colors here as we move along. This is the power I have to work with my, what is that? Oh, see, now I'm going to turn purple and blue. And I have braces. That's the saturation. Oh my gosh. No. So when you're working on anything in life, it really is about understanding your ability to access that power and to overcome those things that you think you can't, because you can. And I'm here to tell you, you can overcome. And sometimes you think overcome means fighting and I'm going to conquer. You know, we don't want to do that. We don't want to fight. We don't want to conquer. Stand up for something, yes. Have values, have opinions. But this is not about conquering. This is about accessing your intuitive self. Okay? So then you have greater access to your power. I'm just going to shut that down for a second. Does that make sense? You know, oh, wait, let me bring that back. So because we've got I was going to say the coalition of the Capricorn planets here, this is the last time they're going to be together in our lifetime, all in one, all ducks in a row. In December, Jupiter and Saturn move into Aquarius. And so if you have any Aquarius in your chart, you're really going to be thinking about, what's my next step? It's maturation time. It's time for me to grow past something, beyond something, grow into something, grow out of something. And sometimes it doesn't always feel good, right? And so, but now you've got the opportunity to see, where's your expansion? What's it about? We want to set a healthy structure in Capricorn. Pluto, we want to face those fears because you created them. So they're not bigger than you. In fact, you're bigger than they are. You created those fears, so they are not bigger than you. All right? Yeah. Now, with Mars going direct on the 13th of November, that kind of, it's like you're on a train and you're trying to get somewhere and it hasn't been working, and you walk to the back of the cars and you go, well, maybe there's a thing going on back here that I could be part of. And, you know, as you enter each car, which would be your awareness. Let me just move that. Okay. As you enter each car of awareness or activity, You flutter. Let me do that. Let me work on this. Let me try to get ahead over here. And then what happens? Why? Is it because Mars is retrograde and it's telling you can't move? No, it's because some part of you is saying something's not finished. I need to work on something. I need to figure something out. I need to take a break. I need to just organize all this stuff on my desk. I need to back up a second. Okay? So now that Mars is going direct, that tells me you're ready to move forward with something. So think about what that might be, because Jupiter, expansion, and Pluto are now at their most intense peaks together. So it's like the door opens, there's a whole new color that you can imbue into your aura, that you can bring up that collective. I'm a physical being, I'm an emotional being, I have a celestial aura, I have this sense of awareness of something greater, I have this sense of awareness of something that's not finished, or something that is within my grasp, and how do I want to approach that? What do I want to do about it? The doing is the Mars part. See, I look at that and I say, okay, there's going to be like a collective ka-chunk. The train is moving forward again. But where are we going to go? Imagine every car on that train is a different person on this planet. Everyone has a different destination and a different agenda. So there's going to be, splitting off of the rails, and I'm going to go this way. No, I'm going to go that way. And so when you come to a meeting of the minds with Jupiter, because Jupiter is inclusive of, it represents inclusion. So when you want to expand on something, let's bring it down to Earth. Okay, you're working on a team, and there's some people you don't really get along with, and you've had to really adjust your approach to them. They've had to have meetings with you, or you found out that they're not communicating with you, and suddenly they make a declaration. How are you going to react or respond? That's the Pluto part. That's like the TNT. It's like something you didn't know that you didn't know is coming. And then suddenly I have a young gal who helps me out with Instagram. And then she said recently, I'm back to school and things are getting a lot and I can give you 2 more weeks. And I was like, thank you. But if you're done, you're done. That's totally okay. I wasn't expecting you to last forever. I know that you're in school and that is a priority, always has been. So I think it was a big relief for her, because the way she worded the email was like, I don't know, and I want to, and then there's this, and then there's, and it's like, hey, you don't need to explain yourself to anyone. If you're done with something, you're done. Now, here's what I like to tell my Gemini people and Gemini rising people. It's done. I'm not done. It's done. Or it's not done. I'm done. It's either way. When you look at like a sink full of dishes and you're like, and they're done, but you're like, okay, I'm not finished. There's something else you want to get going on. Clean the floors, do the laundry, or you're exhausted and nothing's getting done. You're like, okay, I'm done. It's not done. You got to understand the distinction and take a break, or act on if you've got the energy and the enthusiasm. Because without the passion, you're creating negative vortexes. And these vortexes are spiraling you down toward, no, I'm resistant. I don't want to do it. I'm overwhelmed. I'm tired. I'm sick of these people. What kind of decisions are they making? Well, how come I have to do it all? And then all the blah, 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 blah. Ah. Where does that take you? I got rid of my gamma rays. I am that powerful. I'm just going to check in. Hey, Shauna's here. Teresa is a Taurus rising. What else? I'm just checking in to make sure I don't miss anybody. Sometimes, as I said earlier or before, that there's a list of comments or, whatever going on in the thread, but it doesn't show up until after I have finished the video, and then I edit it and I post it, and I just edit the screenshot. I don't edit anything else of the video itself. And so then I'll say, hey, these people commented. I didn't even see that. Hey, Vicky's here as well. So listen, I am still offering, as I started to talk and then I interrupted myself, I am still offering the Eclipse Karma and You sessions, and they are quite powerful. And I want to make sure that you get what you need. So, you know how I go over an hour, but it's going to be not just 2 eclipses because they work in tandem. It's going to be all of them in the next year, in the next 12, actually 13 months. So I want you to be able to make use of this. And I've got 7 spots left. You can read about it here. Let me just post the link. Get your session here. And I'm going to be covering not just the eclipses, but the north and south nodes, as they are also in Gemini and Sagittarius. And I think it's been quite a ride for people this past year, just with the idea of, oh, we're in a pandemic, you know, what do we do? And then there's the politics in America that goes on top of that. And, you know, people in America, there's a bigger world out there. Check out some European news once in a while. Find out what's happening in other areas. It's not just about the U.S. And we can see the trend of wave happening around the world. And that wave is unrest. That wave is, I mean, earthquakes and stuff is always going on everywhere. But then there's breakthroughs and there's scientific awareness. And so I'm just excited to be alive, number one, and to be able to look at what is possible. When I look at these planetary configurations, and anytime we're in a solar lunar eclipse thing, sometimes they happen as, I call them sandwiches, you know, like last summer in 2020, we had 3 in a row, and they always happen 2 weeks apart. Every 6 months, we will have eclipses until you leave this earth. Now, in a couple of thousand years, the moon will be much further away from the earth. We may not have total eclipses anymore, and then a couple of million years further down the road, the moon won't even be in orbit anymore. So, you know, good luck to those people in the future. I wonder if I'll come back and be part of them. I don't know. We're having a little time travel fun right now. Okay, so whatever is going on in your world right now, you want to look at, how am I reacting or responding? I mean, that's a given anyway, right? You are pure conscious love. You have the power to move energy. And yet, where do you go? It's 2 steps forward, sometimes 8 steps back, especially when there's a lot of retrograde planets. And you do that on purpose. It's okay. Because you're like, I don't know if this city is for me. I don't know if this relationship is for me. I don't know why I'm not making more money. I don't know what's going on with my, you know, my maybe if it's a Mars issue, maybe it's anemia or headaches or eyesight issues. That's also a Neptune thing. You know, so I look at what's happening to your body, your bones, your teeth, your skin, your structure. Are you working out? Are you taking care of yourself? We say, oh, the pandemic, and then we see numbers rise in certain areas, and there's a reality to it. Okay? There's a concrete, you know, I have a rock, I hold it. This is malachite. I have a rock and I hold it, I can feel it. In spirit form, different things matter. It's all about compassion. But in human form, you start to negate yourself on certain levels. Oh, I'm not enough, and all the not enoughs come in. I'm too big, I'm too small, I'm not smart enough, I don't have the degrees, I don't live in the right city, it's not the right weather. You know, so then we start the minimizing of who we are. We need to readjust and reset. That is the purpose of a retrograde in astrology, to refocus on what's coming back your way, what issues are resurfacing. All the re's come back: renegotiate, review, release, or renew. So now that Mars is going direct, we're looking more at where's your momentum? Where are you going to put your energy? How are you going to move forward right now? Is it going to be the same way, like, oh, you know, I'll just roll my eyes every time I meet with fill in the blank? My cousin, my brother, my sister-in-law, my father, my whatever, or my, you know, coworker. Or is it going to be, you know what? I went in for a little bit, I reworked something, and I realized that in any moment, any given moment, on any given Sunday, that was a really good movie, where I feel I can be part of my own creation, I'm going to reset in as many moments as possible. So I'm not saying don't feel your feelings. I'm saying when you feel those feelings that say, 4-letter words, what's happening, I don't agree, great. Now what do you want to do about it? So either we switch it to a negative action. Let's not do that. Or we spin it and say, it's like saying, okay, this morning when I accidentally clicked a button in my OBS program, which is an online broadcasting system, and I had everything set up from 2 years ago. So I had all my new photos listed in the program. I had my backgrounds. I had my green screen. I had all my settings for Facebook, for streaming. I mean, this was like a major deal. And I clicked something and it all went away. And I was like, what the 4-letter word? How? Just wait a minute. Hey, Dean, do you know how? He doesn't use this, so he doesn't know how it works. So I thought, okay. So I had a 3-second temper tantrum. That's what I would allow myself. And then I thought, all right, I just need to focus. I need to focus now. So I put all my concentrated energy like a ball of fire into my brain and went to YouTube and went, set up OBS in Mac. And then I figured out how to do it. And here we are. And of course, the color is not 100% because I was running late. But at least, hey, what's that new shade of lipstick? It matches your glasses and your shirt. Actually, in life, they're all different colors. But who knew? Who cares? The point is, how did I react and respond? First, I reacted with outrage and total. It was like a woe is me. No! I was like falling through the cracks of the earth. And then I stopped and went, hey, I'll just go to YouTube and thank all the video people that out there that know what they're doing. So I clicked like, which tells me, please like and subscribe and comment here in YouTube, here on Facebook. And then if you're watching this in a replay on YouTube, eventually, as I said, I'm going to be streaming live simultaneously to YouTube and Facebook. So that's my next technical thing. But my point is the reaction and the response time have changed over the years. Now I see that I'm going red. So either I'm staccato. Now I'm back to green. I was orange. Now I'm red. So streaming right now does not seem to be the greatest. So I hope you can hear me. Hey, who else is here? I have been here. I'm so happy you're here, Rhonda. Okay, so the eclipses. Am I working? I just see red, orange, yellow, green. It's like they're giving me the rainbows. Please like, subscribe, understand that the work that I do is to help you become that mojo mystic. Oh, I just lost lighting down in the corner. We're Fuzzy. Fuzzy the whale. The tech world is making me crazy. No, it's not. It's teaching me how to grow without too many temper tantrums. Does this make sense? I'm going to pull a card for everybody. I'm going to get them over here. Okay. Universal Law of Conscious Creation cards. Thank you to Lara Solara, Dana DePoint, and Marlene Chapman for putting these cards together so long ago. They are no longer available anywhere. I was very grateful to get them. I'm coming through fine. Great. I'm going to create my own broadcasting network. My mind to your mind. Let's do that. Okay. Now, if you're interested in a reading with me with the eclipses, I also include the North and the South nodes, but I'm also going to look at some, and those are the karmic points in your chart, but I also look at the eclipses coming up in 2021 and helping to give you a strategy on moving forward so that it's not just, this looks like this and that looks like that. It's, here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to work on. Here's what we're going to let go of on the unconscious level that you're not fully aware of, or maybe you've been working on it, but now we're going to really let it go so we can open the doors. Because your neurons, I've talked about this before. Your neurons and your brain doesn't know the difference between what's real or imagined. And I'm not just talking about positive affirmations like, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself. I want you to do that too. Because until you actually believe it, you're only operating at, not full capacity, right? So let's get moving. Let's get moving. Who wants to be a Mojo Mystic with me? What's a Mojo Mystic? I've posted this before. I'll post it again. Someone who is conscious of their actions in as many moments as possible with compassion. Someone who is responsible, meaning they have the ability to respond to who they are, who's grateful, who's appreciative, who knows that people are doing their best, who looks for their best, who looks for it, and turns that moment around, who utilizes their brain, asks for help, knows it's okay to cry, sets those healthy boundaries. Come on, people. You're a mystic. You're a Mojo Mystic. You can do this. I'm organizing these cards because there's no real upside down to them, but yet some of them are stuck together in upside downs because they fell the other day. What is going on here? All right. So when I come back next, what's today, Monday? Oh, I'll be here Thursday. Mars will be going direct. So let's talk about what it looks like briefly for the signs to go through some of this northern and southern Gemini Sagittarius exposure. Now, I was going to talk about, this is not a political forum, but I found it fascinating. I'll just say this briefly. I said, I was going to talk about the charts of the two candidates and what I found fascinating. Not who was going to win or who was going to lose, but what I find fascinating, and I'll just say it briefly because we're not talking politics here. Because no matter who sits in that chair in that colorless house, you still create your own reality. And and you got to watch your extremes, right? Because the extremes show you, that's the TNT for the psyche, show you where the fear is, because the fear is going to propagate and accentuate the expansion, Jupiter, fear, Pluto, your lack of awareness and your inability to create more matter that matters, okay? So we want to do the opposite. Find that fear, work through it, expand on compassion, start creating your world, putting graciousness and empathy into the world instead of the opposite. Okay? So Donald Trump is a Gemini sun and a Sagittarius moon. Interesting. Joe Biden is a Scorpio sun, Sagittarius rising. Interesting. Forget his moon, actually. I'm not looking at it. It's Taurus moon. And then Kamala is a Libra sun, Gemini rising. So here we have candidates. I didn't even look up what's his name? Pence, because I wasn't going to go political, but I didn't even look up his chart because I thought, I was going to do a show on it. And I thought, nah, haven't we heard enough right now? But the optics via astrology are, we have 3 people that I just mentioned who have at least a Gemini point. So what are they losing? What are they letting go of? What are they becoming aware of? And 2 people in the people that I mentioned, Biden and Trump, who have Sagittarius in their charts in major placements. One a moon, one a rising. What are they gearing toward? What are they expanding on? And Jupiter guides Sagittarius. So Jupiter in its last week here with Pluto, it's explosive on some levels. It's argumentative. It's condemnation. That's the downside. The upside is it's inclusive. It's expansive. It's saying, let's work it out. Let's work together. So if you find that situation anywhere in life, where you just can't seem to jive with someone in your life, or you have to do something, paperwork or insurance matters, or you're writing something, you need to edit it, it doesn't seem to get done, or you have this gripe about something or someone, I want you to apply these same principles, okay? Which is, look at what the problem is, name the feeling. I feel agitated, frustrated, annoyed, outraged, defeated. I feel depressed, sad, like a victim. Name it. We're not going to stay there long, though, because now what is the opposite of that? What is the opposite of victimization? How about empowered? What is the opposite of discouraged? How about courageous? Enthusiasm literally means deity on the inside. So let's find some enthusiasm. Let's expand on that ability to spark that consciousness that you are and say, I'm going to move beyond some limitations right now. Pluto, Jupiter. And then Mars goes direct. That tells me you're ready to move forward with, let's finish that project. Let's work together with that spouse, that child, that coworker, that whoever. Okay? Does that make sense? Teresa says, yeah, wow, I got mojo. Yay. Hooray. Oh, okay. So this is the card that flipped out. Service. Service. And service is never at the sake of yourself. Because if it's at the sake of yourself, then you're not in service. You're in debt. You know, if the building's on fire and you run back in to grab somebody's cat or somebody's child and you perish in the process, that's selfless service, indeed. But we're not talking extremes. We're talking about, where is it that you're serving? Do you serve yourself? And that's not a negative thing. If you're tired, are you resting? If you're hungry, are you eating? I mean, if you have electricity and can watch me, and can wear a different change of clothes 7 days in a row without doing laundry, you're in the higher echelon of people on this planet who have choice. So, I don't know, what comedian was it? Oh, I think he was banned for doing something illicit. Forget his name. But he did have a funny joke once about being in an airplane. And a young fellow businessman was sitting next to him who couldn't connect to Wi-Fi on his phone. And he was like having a temper tantrum. And the comic said, you're 35,000 feet up, strapped into a chair. That's like a miracle. And you're complaining because you can't get 5 bars on your phone? You know what it used to be? Forget his name. It used to be you wanted to go down there, so you got on a wagon with a bunch of people and you traveled for 3 months and most of them died by the time you got to your destination. Now you're in a chair, 35,000 feet in the air. You'll be where you want to be in 2 hours and you're complaining? Service, never at the sake of yourself. So what is service? What does service mean to you? You can, I recommend to a lot of my clients, you can, do what makes you feel really happy. I love going shopping at Costco for food donations and diapers. That's what we do. We just, half of our bill, and it's a hefty one, is because of donations. And we like to do that. It makes us feel good, and for the food bank. And then there are things that I do that I don't tell anybody about. No one needs to know. No one needs to know what I'm giving and when and why. That is true service. Think about that. Talk about some of the things that you do because it feels good and you want to share and raise awareness and say, oh, they have this Toys for Tots program over at the whatever, and you can just get a thing or they need coats for kids on the reservation. You can go here and you can, so you share because I did and it was fun and I matched the age and the color that the kid wanted of the coat and the blah, blah, and you can share it that way, but then do one good deed a day that you can share and another one that no one else knows about. That is true service. We're all here to serve on this planet, but not at the sake of ourselves. Okay, does that make sense? I'm going to pull another card. pull this one a lot, and I don't know why. Vision. What's your vision? I would call this a Neptune card, but what's your vision? Really? If I turn it sideways, it's like I see little faces, see little alien happy faces in this card. I don't think it was intended. But what's your vision? Because if you can hold on to a vision and work toward it and find enthusiasm for that vision and put the energy on it of passion and purpose and service and productivity, and then rest and nurture yourself, nourish yourself in appropriate moments. Even if you feel tired, sad, or down, that's going to take you out of the creation mode and manifestation mode. And remember, during the eclipses, we are going at a faster speed of manifestation. The portals are open now. What do you want to do? What do you want to let go of? What do you want to create? It's okay to want something, but the more you want it and then you don't get it, the more you create a vibe that says, I don't have what I want. So where's the focus? It's I don't have it. I don't have it. I don't have it. I don't have it, but I want it. I want it. I want it. I want it. But I don't have it. And as I said the other day, the but creates the resistance. And in the resistance, nothing happens. Nothing happens. You get more of the not happening. Who wants that? I don't see anybody raising their hand. Does that make sense? I took this picture when I went hiking not too long ago. Here, this is like 5 minutes from my house. And when I look at this, I look at the beauty of nature. Wherever you live in the world, I want you to find something in nature and expand your appreciation for it in that moment. It could be a dewdrop on a blade of grass. It could be a flower, the last roses that are blooming. I had to cut mine yesterday because we had a deep freeze. So they're sitting on my dining room table, and it's like this appreciation creates a vibration. You are a vibrational being. What are you outputting? Because that energy is going to pick up speed, and then it's going to bring back to you your desires. So if you're not getting what you want, think about that eclipse session with me so we can break those ties and you can be on your way. How's that sound? What if you don't know what you want? It's super frustrating. Then focus on things that you love. Focus on something you love. Anything. It doesn't have to cost anything to focus on. Oh my gosh, I love that song. Or I love doing a crossword by myself with a cup of hot tea at the end of the day. Whatever it is, focus on something you love and you create a vibration. And then you can say, trust, Christmas always works out for me because every day is Christmas. Or my life always works out for me because I always get what I need. I appreciate how the universe works. I'm so in awe of how I get what I need when I need it the most. And so that can help to open the doors to your ability to manifest what you do want, even if you don't know what you want. Deep down, you know what you want. When you were 7 years old, you had the basic idea of what you wanted. Now, you might have said, when I was 7, I wanted to be a ballerina and a health teacher. Okay. So now you might be thinking, well, I'm too old to be a ballerina. Well, do you dance? That gives you joy. You see, like the 7-year-old in you had a clue of what gave you absolute joy, because around the age of 7 is when you 6 to 9, but around 6 to 8, but around 7, you make that morality jump in your brain. It's a growth spurt. And then every 7 years after that, 7, 14, 21, 27, it's a Saturn cycle. That's a Saturn cycle. And so when you look at that, you go, oh, wait, when I was 7, I had a client once who said, I wanted to be a cowboy. I said, okay. And then when I read him, he was quite an adult at the time. And he's like, yeah, I don't want to be a cowboy. So what does that mean? And I said, well, what did it feel like to think about being a cowboy when you were 7? He's like, oh, I could have adventure and I could be on the road and I could do whatever I wanted and I could be with animals. And I said, how many pets do you have? And at the time, birds, cats, dogs. And then eventually he owned a bird store, so he found his passion. Just thinking about that. So break that down. I hope that helps you. Let's not focus on the frustration because you'll get more of it. Just be open to, I'm open to new possibilities, universe. Thank you so much. I'm so appreciative. I'm so grateful for all these new and wonderful opportunities that show me exactly what I need and want. That's where you go. Does that make sense? Oh my gosh, I look like, Elvira. It's like everything is so dark. That's okay. I'll keep working on that. I will be back on Thursday, and we're going to cover a little bit briefly what each of the signs might encounter during the Mars going direct, because I think that's going to be important because of your momentum moving forward, and in this energy of eclipse, what gets spotlighted. And you might think, well, I wasn't expecting that. I've been working on this project over here. How come that showed up? Well, whatever the thing is that's going to get your attention the most and help you grow the most, that's what's going to show. That's what's going to show. So between now and then, I want you to stay sparkly. I want you to be present as possible in as many moments as possible, and change that attitude the moment you feel it coming on, that you're a victim, you don't get what you want, you're not enough, it's never enough. You're a mojo mystic. I'm going to post that credo on my Facebook page again. All right, so that you can read it if you haven't read it before, and if you're not familiar with it, do become familiar with the most powerful parts of you and what you're undergoing now, as just part of the process, the journey, movement toward expansion. All right, I wish you peace as always. I will see you on Thursday. Thank you.